to the CitrusTV studios. I'm Steven Sklar, today's host for Beat the Bookie. If you're new to the program, this is the show where we look around the college sports landscape and tell you where to bet your hard-earned cash in hopes of turning a profit. Now, if you tailed the picks from last week, let me get ahead of it and say I'm sorry. Joe Puccio hopped on the show and told you to take Notre Dame, Colorado, and Alabama against the spread. Going 2-1 in the big games, but big losses on BYU, Michigan spread, and Auburn lost Pooch just about half of his bankroll. And that U.S. Ryder Cup future, jury's still out on it, but it doesn't look so hot. Now, the upcoming slate is a tough one with 4 ranked battles this Saturday, but I'm not worried about it because there's got to be a way to make money off of this. We look at the standings, though, before we get into the picks. Ben Spector hopping on that top spot from the first show, $21 under profit. Jesse Cook over 5.62. He's the only one to actually turn a profit. And Joe Puccio's total from last week, negative 50 and 72 cents for a total of negative 66 and 91 cents. Not a hot showing from the host by any means so far, but let's get into today's picks. I'm already looking at one top 25 matchup between number 11 Notre Dame and number 17 Duke. The Fighting Irish took a big hit in the eyes of the national media off of their loss to then number 6 Ohio State. Between some questionable play calling in the fourth quarter and only putting 10 men on the field on the final 2 plays of scrimmage, the Irish simply let a winnable game slip away. They had the Buckeyes exactly where they wanted them, and now they face a Blue Devils team that's 4-0 and top 5 in scoring defense. But Mike Elko's squad also ranked 68th in the country in rushing defense. And against Audric Estime and that vicious Notre Dame rushing attack, I'm not sure that Duke has the horses to make the big stop. So let's pony up $15 and put it on the Irish minus 5.5. There's another ranked contest in the SEC this weekend between number 13 LSU and number 20 Ole Miss. The Rebels come off of a 24-10 loss to Alabama last Saturday, but are only 2.5-point dogs against the Tigers at home. But the key in this one isn't home field advantage, nor is LSU's high-flying offense. It's who wins the third down battle. Mississippi is 13-1 in its last 14 games when converting on 44% or more of its third down tries. And LSU is third to last in the conference in stopping those. However, Mississippi only converts 35% of the time, so a stoppable force meets a movable object down at Vaught-Hemingway Stadium, and that makes this side a little tough to pick. Converting comes down to running the ball, though. And Ole Miss averaged only 1.9 yards per carry last week. That's not enough to pull off the upset, so go Tigers against the spread minus 2.5 for $15. After an upsetting loss to number 9 Oregon, Colorado is back home to greet number 8 USC and last year's Heisman winner Caleb Williams. I've done a lot of mental gymnastics over this one, so bear with me. The Buffs' defense was never that good, but took a big hit losing Travis Hunter in the Colorado State game, which also hurts on offense as Hunter is one of CU's best receivers, and without him, they only put up 159 passing yards. So the pick is easy then. Trojans by a jillion, right? Not so fast. Drew Pine, shout out Ian Nicholas, just threw for over 220 yards against Southern Cal. When you go car shopping, you want a car with a good steering wheel that doesn't fly off while you're driving. And when I pick a side, I don't like leaning towards a team I can't trust, especially when the spread is this big. Buffs at home, 21.5-point dogs. Shadur Sanders bounces back. Put $15 on it, please. Now let's check in on the C-suite to see what they have. Like I just told you, I have Notre Dame on the spread, LSU and Colorado. In the C-suite, they agree on the Notre Dame game, but they're fading me on the LSU Ole Miss game. They have the Rebels plus 2.5. And also fading me on the USC Colorado game. They took USC laying big points, minus 21.5. Even though they're on the road, USC does look to be the much better team. The host, 5-3-1 so far. The C-suite, with a losing record, keep that in mind, 3-5-1. That leaves me with $60 to play with. So what do you say we have some fun? Number 2, Michigan at Nebraska. A true test for Matt Rule and the Cornhuskers. This is a big spot for the Wolverines, who are 14-3-1 against the spread as road favorites under Jim Harbaugh. But the first half line slowly gone down all week leading up to this. It's at 8.5 in favor of Michigan, but I'm backing Nebraska in the first half for $5. And speaking of line movement, for Hawaii UNLV, that's gone from -9 in favor of the Rebels to -11. Looking at the Hawaii game log, one game stands out, and that's the 55-10 loss to Oregon, because other than that, every game it's played has been close, and that offense has been great. Peter Shager is 4th in the country in passing yards, and Pafeli Ashford is 8th in the country in receiving yards. The Rainbow Warriors are 9-1 against the spread in their last 10 conference games. Give me a daytime Hawaii football game, and I'll bet it plus 11 on the underdog for $5. To the Big 12, I'm expecting fireworks between number 24 Kansas and number 3 Texas. The game's in Austin with an over-under set at 61.5. Kansas's biggest issue as a team is making stops in the red zone. In 14 opportunities, opponents have scored 14 times. So good luck stopping tight end Jadavian Sanders and running back Jonathan Brooks. But on the other hand, the Jayhawks' biggest strength is that the offense has been one of the most efficient in the country. Quarterback Jalen Daniels ranks inside the top 20 nationally for passing efficiency, and running back Devin Neal is 8th in yards per carry. I mean, the guy averages over 3 yards after contact. So give me the over for $10, please. Heading back over to the SEC, Vandy and Mizzou is another game to keep an eye on. Keep in mind, both quarterbacks, A.J. Swan for Vandy and Brady Cook for Mizzou, carry injury tags into this game. But if the two gunslingers are out there, neither defense is going to, and neither defense really can do much to stop them. The Commodores and Tigers rank 81st and 85th in the country, respectively, in passing defense. This could be a shootout from the get-go, and I don't want to miss it. So over 54.5 for $5, please. We'll take it light. It's time for me to pick my dog of the week now, and it might just be my sharpest play of the day. 2-2 Coastal Carolina challenges 3-1 Georgia Southern. And let's call a spade a spade. Coastal has not met its expectations so far. A conference loss to Georgia State puts them behind the 8 ball already. A second to Southern could possibly end their conference championship aspirations. But call off the coroner. The Chanticleers aren't dead yet. Their passing defense is 51st in the country, and they're 13th in turnovers gained. Eagles quarterback Davis Brin leads college football in interceptions, so for me, this one's easy. CCU, not the spread, but money line plus 198 for $10. And let's go over the parlay now. 3 legs and 3 favorites. I've got Purdue in the leadoff spot here. This is a can't-lose spot for both teams, sitting at 0-1 in Big Ten play. And there was also an argument that both teams are equally as bad, but I really look at the Illini as the worst team here, and I don't think Purdue starts 0-4 at home to open up the Ryan Walters era. So I'll take a chance with Hudson Card and the rest of the crew. And next up, Penn State on the spread against Northwestern. It's a big number to lay, no doubt, but come on, don't overthink this one. Penn State's got the #1 defense in college football, doesn't turn the ball over, and leads the country in time of possession. Meanwhile, Northwestern is 100th in offense across the sport, 104th in sacks, and 124th in time of possession. Need I say any more? Finally, I'm placing my trust in Nick Saban and Alabama at -14.5 over Mississippi State. The Bulldogs are still looking for their first SEC win after losses to LSU and South Carolina, and now they get dealt the Crimson Tide, who've won 15 straight in this so-called rivalry. State's giving up an average of 400 yards per game. This one's shaping up to be an Alabama masterclass. So Purdue money line, Penn State -26.5, and Alabama -14.5 parlayed together should get you somewhere around plus 592. Let's throw another $10 on it. And finally, give me a future on Wisconsin to win the Big Ten at plus 1,100. I'm a sucker for big plus signs, but I also believe in Luke Fickell and his culture. He was brought in this offseason to rebuild a program in purgatory, just like he did when he was at Cincinnati. Under his watch, the G5 school played in 2 New Year's Six Bowls and won 2 conference titles. No, this isn't the AAC, but remember that Fickell knows Big Ten football from his playing days at Ohio State. It's just getting started, but I like where they're headed, so give me $5 on the bet to round things off. And we get to a recap now. 15 on number 11 Notre Dame against the spread, 15 on number 13 LSU against the spread, and 15 on Colorado against the spread to beat number 8 USC. Those are the big bets. We've got $5 on the Nebraska first half spread against Michigan, and Hawaii, the Rainbow Warriors, playing at Allegiant Stadium to cover plus 11. $10 on the over between the number 3 and number 24 teams in the country, and another $5 on another over, number 23 Missouri and Vanderbilt at 54.5. $10 Coastal Carolina, that's my dog of the day. They're plus 198, and the spread is around plus 6. $10 on my parlay, Purdue moneyline plus 111, PSU -26.5, and Bama Roll Tide -14.5. And then you take a look at my future there, Wisconsin to win the Big Ten. Thanks to the guys in the C-suite and everybody else that helped make this show. You can catch more Citrus TV sports content on our social media, Instagram at Citrus TV Sports, and Twitter as well. For the people here at Citrus TV and Beat the Bookie, I'm Steven Sklar. Thanks for tuning in.